What's up, metalheads? New series, episode 1. We're going to dissect the record, dissecting the album Powerslave by Iron Maiden. And we're going to check it out right after this. Yeah.
We're going to dissect the album. Dissect the album. Yes, we're going to cut it open. And we're going to listen to every little monster inside. Dissecting the album with Eric.
my new intro with the cheap effects. I put that together really fast. I was like, I got that riff. Like I recorded that riff like three years ago, and I'm thinking, I'm just gonna make a fucking intro out of it. Here we are. This is dissecting the album. We're gonna kind of go through each song, talk about it, talk about the record, the history of it, what it means to us. I mean, it's 1984. This is 40 years of Powerslave. 40 years later. What do you think about this record, Paul? What was your first impression when you got it? When you first got it, like
first impression was
when did you first get it?
I was still in Guam at the time. I bought it at the PX there, and my first impression was, wow, this is a totally different sound for Iron Maiden. With the opening song on there, it's like, okay, it's not your typical Iron Maiden gallop. That was my first thought.
Yeah. Look at that album cover. It's just, I mean, that's the first thing that caught my eye as a kid. Like, going through, I think I got it at Kmart, whatever, and it was like begging my grandma, give me this. This looks so cool. And well, was you already familiar with, like, how familiar were you with Iron Maiden at that time? And how old were you? You probably had to have been, 15, 14 in 84?
I think I was about 14, 15 when I got that. I had already had Number of the Beast, and I already had Killers. And cool. I didn't have Peace of Mind yet at that time. Just Number of the Beast and Killers at that time.
Okay. Yeah, I think I just had Peace of Mind at that time.
So when I heard it, I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah. Now, like would you say that the album cover itself kind of drew you to it, or did you know it was coming out, or was it more like you were just like kind of walking through the PX or whatever, and you discovered it? Like, did you already know it was out, or were you waiting for it to come out?
No, I didn't even know it was coming out because I depended on magazines back then, and I didn't see it inside the magazine. But I went to the PX one day, and then they had the new releases on the end cap, and I saw that, and I just grabbed it right away. I was excited.
Yeah. Did you buy it on vinyl or cassette, or they didn't have CD at the time? I don't think, right?
I bought it on vinyl. I got it on vinyl. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember because I know I got it at Kmart in Atwater or maybe Merced or whatever. And I remember begging my grandma for it, but I kind of think I had it on cassette first, but then I also think I had it on vinyl. I know I had Peace of Mind on cassette because we got that through the Columbia House, 12 cassettes for a penny that we use fake names to get, being 15.
I still owe the money.
Yeah, right. We're like 15 years old, and we're committing fraud. It's like,
we were so in debt.
I know, right? Like, how long you been in debt? Since I was fucking 15, man. Columbia House. And they went out of business. Yeah, and just the artwork. Yeah, the artwork is so freaking crazy. I mean,
I know.
Egyptian. So, like, when you first put it on, what was your favorite song? Or like when you played all the way through, like, was there a song that stuck out to you the most?
The Powerslave was my favorite song for sure.
Yeah.
It had that, that darker sound, and that's the reason why. Yeah, but now that I listen to the album through, I think Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner is just it's just a great track. I mean, well written track.
Yeah, I think to me that's like the all-time favorite Iron Maiden song to this day. Like, and the good thing is we're going to listen to and watch the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner video at the end of this, because we're going to kind of go through each song and sort of hear tits and bits, and we're going to play a couple of videos because the two main singles off of Powerslave was Aces High. Do you remember seeing that video when it came out? Aces High or 2 Minutes to Midnight?
Yep, I remember that video.
Yeah. As you can see back there at
Powerslave. 2 Minutes Midnight. I remember watching that on MTV.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got a lot of like that's when you think about
Yeah.
MTV back in those days, there was a lot of new wave and a lot of like kind of pop music, but Iron Maiden was very consistently played on MTV back in those days, you know. Right?
It was, yeah. Aces High was on there a lot too. Yeah,
Yeah.
the video.
My
When I heard 2 Minutes to Midnight, I thought the opening riff, I was like, wow, this is a completely different sound for Iron Maiden.
Yeah. My first time ever seen Iron Maiden or even discovering them was just on MTV because it was like they would always play that Flight of Icarus all the time and I always thought that was like the coolest video and you know just the way
Oh yeah,
he was all freaky looking and shit. And I got some Powerslave merchandise. Look, got this. You got one of these? The Powerslave action
I have
figure.
the one that is in a glass case.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the one that's in like a plexiglass display case? It looks almost like the album.
Is it like this one right here? The Powerslave Funko. Let's see if I get it.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
You got this one. Yeah. Yep, I got this one when it came out. I pre-ordered.
Yeah, I have that one on display. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the Powerslave Funko. It's worth $25 right now, I think, on Funko, which I think it costs $20, but then I got the Eddie action figure from Aces High. This is pretty cool. Looking Eddie, man. I thought I got the Eddie World Slavery Tour action figure, but I can't find it. Keep getting all these action figures and losing them. Check it out. Got the Pharaoh Eddie action figure. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
It's the Powerslave.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
They call it a cloth figure because like his outfit's kind of clothy looking. And man. Then I got my Powerslave poster back there. World Slavery. And I got the Powerslave t-shirt on. Yes. I'm all Powerslaved out.
It was that album's cool. The artwork that went with it is cool. The merchandise, it's got some cool stuff.
Yeah, so the
whole Egyptian theme is just awesome.
Yeah. So Derek Riggs did the album cover, you think, or I would imagine, or I know he did all of our early Iron Maiden albums, but then they stopped using Derek Riggs after a while. But I'm pretty sure he did Powerslave, which is amazing artwork. I mean, it's just like, how the fuck did you even do that?
Yep.
So it's 1984. What grade were you in? Probably a junior, sophomore.
Or when that came out, was I 8th grade or freshman? No. Yeah, I had to be a freshman. 8th grade. I was in 8th grade.
You sure? Because I'm about a year. I'm a year older than you, right? I'm 56.
Yeah. So
in 84, I was 16.
Yeah, 8th grade because I graduated in 88, so I had to be 8th grade.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And it came out on this day 40 years ago. The album still holds up strong. We're gonna go through the tracks. We're gonna start off with Aces High. This was like one of the first singles that came out. Aces High. Do you have the singles? Do you have any of the singles on vinyl or anything? The 45s? I have
no, not 45s.
Yeah, the only 45s I think I got are the ones from the Seventh Son album. But yeah, fucking such a great album.
Oh wow, yeah. Only 45s I ever own are usually like punk bands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Punk bands, and then I remember I had some like L7 and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I don't even think I started getting 45s until like recently. I mean, I never really collected them as a teenager, and I just thought they were kind of pointless. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get a record and just listen to one song. It's like, you know, now I got them and I don't even listen to them. I have them for collection.
I have this Merciful Fate album. It's a 12-inch, and it's called Nuns Have No Fun.
Oh yeah, I've heard that one.
Like an EP, Merciful Fate. Yeah. And I played it, and I was like, man, I go, why is King Diamond singing so low? And you know, this is a different tone. And turns out it's supposed to be played at 45 speed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've done that with a few of the 12
I was like, oh, okay, it's normal now.
Yeah.
But it threw me off because the record was a full 12-inch.
Yeah, that's what when I first got like I think it was Possessed, the newest album. It was 12-inch full album. I didn't know you had to play it at 45 because I would put it on and it was like all slow, and I'm like, wow, they're like doom metal now or something. And then I saw you have to play it at 45. But I liked it, and I've gotten other albums that are 12-inch at that 45 speed. And I don't know, there's something about the sound quality. It's like way better sound quality. Like I don't know, maybe that's why they do it. Maybe that's why they put it at 45 as a 12-inch.
You can hear more.
Yeah, it's definitely like a little bit more crisp.
You can hear more of it,
Mm-hmm. It's more dynamic. All right, let's check this out. Let's check out Ace's. Sorry to interrupt the program here, but what happened was after I got done taping with Paul, I went and uploaded everything to YouTube, and then it got blocked because they blocked out Ace's High, 2 Minutes to Midnight, and then Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, which we watched the entire live performance of that, which sucks. We had to cut that out. So just filling in the gaps here. UMG Music owns Iron Maiden, and so because they blocked these songs, I could edit it out, but then it's going to look kind of funky. So I figured I'd put here. Ace's High is a great song, great killer guitar solos. I mean, it's the opening track. It's one of their biggest hits. I mean, they open up every show with it, except for this newest tour. But you never get tired of hearing the song. Put it that way. So yeah, so I'm going to fill in the gap. I'll be back for 2 Minutes to Midnight. Metal. Now back to our program. Yeah.
Album.
Yeah.
His voice was, I felt his voice was just more aggressive sounding, and he had a killer scream on it too.
Yeah. How about that bass? I mean, that fucking Steve Harris, man. It just cuts teeth, What do you think about the guitar solo in that?
Oh, it's crisp, man. It's really cool. I mean, it's good guitar solo, harmonizing. It was amazing. Yeah, just one thing about Iron Maiden, the solos are always like almost perfect. You
can never go, and you can never get like as many times I've heard that song over and over and over and over. Like it's played to death, and they play it at the beginning of every show. Even to this day, I think they opened up with it most except for this newest tour, but the last tour they opened up for it with it, and it's just like I never get tired of it. it's like like Kiss will open up with, or Kiss will have Rock and Roll All Night, Party Every Day, and it's like you just like, oh man, song again, or Cold Gin again. It's like, but for some reason Iron Maiden can get away with, you can hear Ace's High or 2 Minutes to Midnight over and over and not get tired of it. It's fucking badass.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm show the audience my Adrian Smith guitar, and of course the first song I ever played on
awesome
this was,
guitar.
That's the first song I ever played when I got it. No, I think I did this when I first got it. I love the neck on this thing, man. I mean, this is probably the cheaper version that Adrian Smith put out. I think he's got like $1,000 version, and this was like the $500 version. But I got the cheap one, obviously. Thanks to Donald Trump and that stimulus check in 2020. That's one thing good about Trump.
Nice strat guitar.
Yeah, it's got a nice. But the neck is so good. I mean, it's like that's the first thing I go for on a guitar. What about you? What's the first thing you go for on a guitar when you pick it up?
The neck and the ability to reach the 24th fret.
Yeah, I think that has 24 frets.
That's the reason why. Yeah, that's the reason why I play Explorer styles, because I can get to the 24th fret easily, and Les Pauls. Because I could easily access the 24th fret. Yeah. But yeah, that's the first thing I do is I pick it up and I get a feel for the neck and how it is, and that's why I switched over from BC Rich to Jackson, because Jackson necks are really really fast, and BC Rich necks are really thick. They're kind of big compared to a Jackson neck.
Yeah.
I tried out Ibanez for a little bit. The C neck is kind of weird for me. A lot different, but the Jackson is most comfortable for me.
Yeah.
And then lately, my two Les Pauls I have are ESP LTD, and I like those necks quite too.
Are they heavy? Like as far as weight wise?
Not the ones, not especially the GH 600 I have, the Gary Holt series. That one's really light.
Okay.
But the EC256, that one's pretty heavy. It's like the classic, Les Paul mahogany wood.
Oh, okay.
That put some weight on that shoulder after a while.
Damn. So how many guitars you got these days?
Like 23.
Damn.
Yeah, I kind of got them scattered everywhere. Well, that's between guitar and it got 2 bass out of it.
Yeah.
So 20 guitars. Yeah.
I think I have about 4, but only 2 of them work. It's like
that
one
a
might be
couple of mine I've taken apart.
Yeah.
I do have a couple that I've taken apart to do some upgrading and then haven't got around to finishing it. I got about 3 or 4 that's like that.
Oh yeah. I did buy a used Applause, which is an Ovation. It's an Ovation sort of copy of it's an acoustic, but it looks like an Ovation, but it's an Applause brand. But it's actually a pretty nice guitar. I need to change the strings on it because the strings are all old and look like they're about to fall off, but it stays in tune miraculously, and it just feels so good. It feels almost it feels like I'm playing an electric, just the way the neck feels, and but it's a nice. I'm going to take it into the shop eventually. And
I really want
a what?
I really want a Jake Charvel, but they're like $1,300.
Yeah, that's kind of like my dream guitar. One of these days, I'm going to get myself a fucking Jake Ely guitar. That's like next on my list.
Yeah,
like my dream was that
yeah,
Adrian
that's
Smith
like
first.
At the top of my
yeah. I gotta get.
I like to get it and make that my go-to guitar.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Let's check out. All right, let's check out. These songs, Aces High and 2 Minutes to Midnight, they're both about kind of like what we're in the times we're in now, with the wars and the we got dictators and all kinds of shit going on. And then we got 2 Minutes to Midnight. We're like I think the last time they did the Doomsday Clock, it was like, we're like 15 seconds to midnight now or something.
We were still in the Cold War at that time.
Yeah. I think the last time they did the report on the Doomsday Clock.
Why it's all like, I think it has something to do with KGB, right? The 2 Minutes to Midnight.
I think so, yeah. It's really bad with the history on that whole stuff. I need to get out of reading comic books and start reading history books, But Iron Maiden is, when you listen to Iron Maiden, I always tell people listen to Iron Maiden because you're getting a history lesson with Iron Maiden, right? Like all their lyrics are.
Yep, you do, yeah.
I mean, they're very versed in their history, and I bet they don't make shit up. We got Bruce Dickinson on vocals, Dave Murray on lead guitars, Adrian Smith on lead guitars, Steve Harris on bass, Nico McBrain. They say this is the first Iron Maiden record without a lineup change, or since Bruce, I guess, got it. Because I guess you figure when you count Peace of Mind, that was like the first album that came. They had they obviously had a different drummer. They got rid of Clive Burr from Number of the Beast, and they brought in Nico for Peace of Mind, and then that lineup stayed intact for this record. So this is like the first record without changing lineups, I guess, from what they say. So I think even the first Iron Maiden record had a different guitar player, and then they brought in Adrian Smith for Killers, and then they got rid of obviously Paul Di'Anno. Bruce Dickinson comes in. They have Clive Burr on drums. They get rid of him and bring in Nico McBrain for Peace of Mind. And then this is like the first album that they didn't switch any members out. Everyone stayed intact from what I gather. So which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then later on they brought in Yannick Gears. I feel bad. They probably brought him in.
But he came in after Adrian Smith left, right?
Yeah, because Adrian left.
Around when Adrian Smith came back.
Yeah, I always feel like maybe they probably didn't. Maybe they felt bad about kicking him out, so they probably say, you know what, let's just have 3 guitars. Like maybe because he's probably like a super nice guy, and they're like, yeah, but we can't get rid of him. He's been, just because Adrian decided to come back, and it's like, so let's just have 3 guitars.
Well, first time I seen him was Fear of the Dark tour, and Adrian Smith wasn't in the band. Yannick was in the band.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, because Adrian came back.
And then Adrian Smith came back, yeah. And then Yannick never left, yeah.
Yep, and then Bruce came back in 2000, yep. Cool. Let's check out 2 Minutes to Midnight.
But it's like, talk about...
Talk about what?
2 minutes to midnight. So I'm singing it off key so that way UMG can't block me. Yes, again, I'm back. 2 Minutes to Midnight, another great track. We shared our thoughts on it. We watched the video. It got cut in the final mix, or when I uploaded to YouTube. So yeah, so thank you for hanging in there. But yes, 2 minutes to midnight. What can I say about the song? You've heard it a million times. I could play it on guitar. Wow, I could play it on guitar. So back to the show.
I forgot one part. I think that's what he does. You never get the rhythm right there. 2 minutes to midnight. What do you think about that track?
Oh, it's an awesome track. I love that breakdown and then the build up, and then that opening riff. It's so much like a classic metal riff, especially back there. And that's what I loved about it. It just really caught the attention with the opening on it.
I kind of ripped that riff off in my song Warmonger. Like, it's, if you listen to Warmonger, it's almost the same riff, but it's just played different. Like, that's kind of the first time I actually kind of borrowed something, because what I was doing, I was trying to figure the song out, and I ended up like kind of playing the rhythm wrong. It's like, fuck, I want to keep that riff, because like, I don't know if you ever done that, try to figure out a song by somebody, and then it's like you don't get it all the way, so but it sounds cool enough to keep it as your own.
Yeah, so many times I'm writing music and then I stumble across somebody else's riff, and and I was like, oh shit, that's pretty cool. I think I'll keep that.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it, because to me, I look at it more like, okay, I'm paying tribute to one of my inspirations, and you're just you're doing a variation of it. It's not like he owns that pattern or that chord progression. If you played it exactly like it, then it'd be different. But if you're playing like a variation of it, then there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's what makes it cool. Because then
so I've come across that,
And that's what makes it a catchy song for other people to listen. And when they hear it, they'll be like, wow, I love this song. Matter of fact, it's if they liked what they heard from the original, but not, and they can't place where you heard the new version of it, but they like it for some reason. The reason why they like it, because it's similar to what they've liked before. And that's what makes a good song, I think, is when you sort of borrow from a formula from a song that was very successful. And if you borrow from that formula, then that's what kind of can make a song that people listen to and remember, and it sticks in their head, like a earworm.
Yeah. Yeah. But though, if you listen to a lot of the Black Sabbath stuff, and then you listen to some of the other bands back there, like Zeppelin, stuff like that, they borrow riffs from each other. I mean, they're just starting to write and coming across the same stuff,
Very true. Yeah. Let's check out the guitar solo to 2 minutes to midnight. I want to kind of emphasize on that. Love that bass.
Yep.
Yeah. The little end part, I always thought he did a trill like, but I guess he just fades it. I was thinking he did like a trill, Yeah. So, and it's so cool, like, because you're in the beginning of the solo, you hear like how they're kind of coming in and out with harmonies, and it's just like the way they arrange it was so, like, genius arrangement. The way they arrange that solo, because you got Dave Murray, but then you got
guitar,
it's like the two guitars. One, they kind of start out playing together, doing those harmonies, and then they take off separately, and it's just so perfect. I mean, I think they're like the kings of double guitar to me. Like, Judas Priest, obviously, and there's a lot of bands probably did it before them. But I feel like Iron Maiden kind of put a stamp on what it is to be a dual guitar playing band. Like I think they set the standard.
Yeah, I mean, they got probably the best harmonizing guitar as a dual guitar. I mean, Judas Priest, I think the best guitar solo that Judas Priest has for a double guitar would be on Painkiller. That is probably the best dual guitar switch off,
Yeah, it's a badass fucking solo. Yeah, we have to. That's a good album. That'd be a good album to dissect. Painkiller. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good album.
We're gonna dissect that album soon. So then they got a song called Lost for Words. I used to think it was, when I was a kid, I used to think it was Lucifer Words. But it's Lost for Words. And then what's the full title of that song? Let's see. Lost for Words, Big Aura. What do you think that means? I wonder. That's their instrumental, right?
Yeah.
Let's play a little bit of it. Play it, just a couple of clips or a couple of minutes of it. Good. I mean, it's a song. It's like when it comes on, I'm like, it's good production. Like you just hear everything, like all the little digga, like the little gallops and everything. Would you say this album has any like there's when an album has fillers, like would you consider this being a filler? I kind of feel like Back in the Village is probably like the filler song of the whole album. Like what do you think as far as like if you were to play that?
I was just thinking that when you're playing this right now, I was just thinking when you're playing that right now, that filler, but it's still an awesome filler. And then Back in the Village, I believe, would probably be the weaker song compared to all the others.
Yeah, like the song you can kind of skip, like you could do with it, do without it, type of one. Let's see what a Flash of the Blade sounds like.
Yeah, exactly.
His voice was so powerful there. Like, that's a good song. When I put it on, I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. But when you actually really listen to it, it's like, okay, there's some cool shit going on in that one. If you think about Flash of the Blade and the Duelists, almost wonder like Bruce Dickinson kind of like he's all into the fencing. Like I wonder if like that like he wrote one of those are kind of like inspired by his fencing. Like come on, mates, we got to have a couple of songs about fencing on the album. Like. You know, I'm surprised he didn't write no songs about flying airplanes or some shit. Oh yeah, I guess he did on the Book of Souls. He wrote that song about flying that big old blimp. I forgot what it was called, but yeah.
Oh, the
yes, can't remember the title of it. It's a good song too.
I can't even think, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the one that's like all mellow and long?
Yeah, really long is at the end of
the Hindenburg.
Yeah,
well, the one about the Hindenburg.
Yeah, but it was like a different title for it.
Something in the sky or heaven or something. Yeah.
We'll
so that's the thing about most of the Iron Maiden new stuff. It's not as memorable as the old stuff where you hear them recognize the title of the song. You know.
Yeah. I feel like they're more like, to me, I feel like they're writing records now for themselves and they're for their own like, I guess, satisfaction of satisfying themselves with just like long songs and very kind of in-depth lyrics. You know, they're actually good records if you put them on and you like read the lyrics along with them. Then you can really get into them. Even like Senjutsu did have some songs that are a little bit more memorable than like Book of Souls. It's like it's hard to remember any song off that album, even though it's a good album. But I feel like Senjutsu had some pretty good ones. Obviously, Writing on the Walls, memorable. What's the other one that? I'm saying they're memorable. I can't even remember them. It's like, yeah, it's a memorable song, but I can't remember what song I'm trying to think of. Fuck it. I guess they're not memorable songs.
Yeah, I have both of them too. Yeah. And I saw them on the Book of Souls tour.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's check out the Duelist. Let's see. Let me pull it up here. All right. Kind of a cool song. Not a whole lot going on. It's good, but it's kind of a song you can just kind of pass up, right?
Yeah, I definitely know where Omen got their sound from. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, the band Omen. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely got the Iron Maiden influence big time.
Yeah. What would you rate Duelist from a 1 to 10? I'd probably give that about maybe a 6, maybe.
Yeah, I would say about maybe 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5. Like Flash of the Blade, I would have gave like probably an 8, at least for words, maybe a 6 or 7. Yeah, and then the Duelist about 5 or 6. It's good, but not great. But this song right here. That's it. Kind of like Somewhere in Time has Heaven Can Wait. It's like the annoying song. I think Back to the Village is that song on Power. Even though Back to the Village to me is a better song than Heaven Can Wait, but yeah, it's kind of like a song you'd be like, especially when it's like back in the village again, over and over and over.
Yeah, that chorus does kind of ruin it.
Yeah. But then we get the
Heaven Can
Powerslave,
Wait, man. It's just that
right?
opening, just oh my god.
Totally. And then we get to a song like Powerslave. Now this is like the track of tracks, right, on the album, except for Rhyme and Ancient Mary, which we're gonna get to. But let's check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, that's definitely a 10 out of 10 on that song. The lyrics are awesome. Songwriting, man, it's just amazing.
Wait. Look at that riff right there. There it goes.
I love that part.
I used to know it. Tell me why I have to be a Powerslave. Something like that. Tell me why I have to
Is that a
be.
minor key?
Yeah, pretty much like it's like a harmonic minor too, because it's like that.
That's why it gives it the darker sound. So I love that. That's
Well, it's got the devil's note.
That's what I like about a lot of that. A lot of the black metal bands use that whole minor key, the harmonic minor. It's just so dark. It's like my favorite scale to play.
Yeah, it's that flatted fifth, the devil's note, as they call it. Now the song Powerslave, lyrics wise, I looked it up. They explores themes of power, control, mortality, and struggle for immortality. I guess it's you talk about the Eye of Horus, which represents protection, power, and healing. So that's the thing about Iron Maiden. You get a history lesson. Look at that chorus. Tell me why I had to be a Powerslave. I don't want to die. I'm a god. Why can't I live on? When the life giver dies, all around is laid to waste. And in my last hour, I'm a slave to the power of death.
I mean, that's some awesome lyrics right there. I mean, think about it, right? Egyptians consider their kings their gods, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And for example, King Tut, he died with 13, 14, and the bottom line is you're mortal.
Yeah. And I was also reading up on, so when Bruce Dickinson said when he writes lyrics, I guess he visualizes what he actually, when he's singing, he actually could see like pictures in his head. That's kind of like what I do when Tony would always write the lyrics. I'd always try to visualize what I'm seeing or what I'm reading. So it kind of gives me a way to like, because anybody could just sing some lyrics and it'd be like, okay, you're just singing whatever random words. But if you actually can visualize what it is you're singing and just like put pictures, like almost like you're watching a little mental movie, it kind of projects across to the audience when they hear it. It's like they're like, wow, he must have wrote those lyrics.
That's my thoughts when I write lyrics. Yeah. That's what my thoughts when I write lyrics. I think of it like, okay, if this was a film script, how would it be presented? You know?
Yeah, because like
what
when you
be
send me
the
those,
meaning of it?
when you send me your lyrics, it's like that's what I'm doing. I'm like actually picturing. That's why I love you as a lyricist, because you are so like visual with your words. Like I can actually see what it is that you're writing, and it's sort of, when I put it to the music, it's just so much easier to write
Yeah,
with. And,
yeah.
it's like, when you came up with the belladonna, I was like, holy shit! Like I'm actually picturing this. Like, and again, I didn't even know it was about a flower. Like I didn't know the belladonna anything about it, but I was picturing this seductive woman, and taking these men and kind of killing them in a sense with her beauty. But
Yeah,
she's so beautiful, but deadly at the same time. And then when I read the description of that's what that flower is, I'm like, oh shit, the belladonna.
yeah. You presented that so well too. I mean, I love that
Yeah.
opening line, "In the light of."
Yeah. Like I would not have been able to do it
Yeah,
like
I
that
was
if it wasn't for the words. Yeah.
when I was writing that. Actually, I was just sitting here having a conversation with Leanne, and we were on a conversation about the nightshades,
Yeah.
nightshade flowers,
Okay.
and then she mentioned to me that the crown of thorn is actually a nightshade. And
Oh
I say,
yeah.
what? Up, and that's when
Oh,
I was like, oh shit, I need to write about this.
yeah. Yeah, you did a kick-ass job. I do plan to re-release that
Yeah.
song with a different mix at some point. Let's see here.
It's funny because I played that song for a lot of my doctor friends I work with that are into metal.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, nice. You wrote about the nightshade. They knew about
Cool.
it.
Yeah. They know about their botany. They're botanists.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. All right. Now we're going to get into the meat of the show, where we're gonna watch a live clip from the World Slave, because so this album right here inspired the World Slavery Tour. Obviously, you can see that background. I got the poster there. As far as let me look up the album cover here. So it inspired Live After Death, which was the World Slavery Tour. Motley Crue. Now I wish I would have saw that. Man, I should have thought about bringing Eric Cooksey on too, because he actually went to this concert, and he's part of the record. Like every time I share the records, like, I was in the audience at the Long Beach Arena. It's like Eric
Wow,
Cooksey.
this is back in '85, huh?
Yeah. And I always tell him,
Oh,
I could hear
awesome.
you. I could hear you in the crowd, man. Like, but yeah. So and it's like, I wish I would have went, but obviously, like, we were in Atwater at the time, but yeah. So the World Slavery Tour is based off the Powerslave album, and then they obviously released Live After Death in '85, which next year, on that anniversary, I'd like to really dig deep into that album, because that's like one of my favorite live albums of all time, is Live After Death. What do you like about that album? You like that album, Live After Death? I mean,
That's a good album. I have never been a big live album fan because I have a problem trying to get a good, clear listening on live albums. But this album, for the time, it was produced really well.
Yeah.
And I had steered away from a lot of live albums then, because I want to hear the guitar. I want to hear certain things, and I don't get to hear it. But with this album, it was produced. You can hear everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so let's get into the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, the creme la crop of this album. And to me, one of the greatest Iron Maiden songs ever written. I don't think there'll ever be a song that'll match it. I know they've come out with songs that were longer. At the time when this came out, this was probably considered one of the longest songs of a metal band or rock band, maybe, other than probably what Rush did in the 70s. I know Rush had a couple songs that were really epic.
Awesome, epic.
Yeah. I think they made the epic
keeps
song popular.
It keeps you interested in it.
Mm-hmm. It was weird. I didn't know it was about a bird. Like, I didn't know an albatross.
A lot of times long songs tend to get bored.
Yeah, your phone was cutting out there. But yeah, I didn't know it was about a bird.
A lot of times you get bands that write epic songs, and you lose interest in the middle of the song because it gets so boring. But not with this song, you don't.
Yeah, the song just keeps you going. So here we are. We're going to check out Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner with the intro. Bruce Dickinson says some pretty funny.
And here we watched the entire live clip it's like 50. It was like 15 minutes long of Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner on the World Slavery Tour. You know, it was taken from the Live After Death video. But apparently UMG would not let us use it, and they decided to block it. And again, I'm doing this because if I would have left the video like it was, well, for one, I wouldn't be able to show it. It was completely blocked. I didn't get a copyright strike, which is good, but I got completely blocked. But they allowed the other songs to be used, the audio. Maybe we should have just used the audio off the album. We might have gotten away with it then, but because we showed those videos, that's why I got blocked. So anyway, we'll go back to the show here in a second. But "Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner" to me is my all-time favorite Iron Maiden song. I mean, I can never get tired of it. I mean, it's got so many cool changes. It's just an epic song. It's so beautifully arranged. I mean, the fact that they go through all this, they get a breakdown, does all this crazy stuff, guitar solo, bass solo, another guitar solo, and then comes back for the last verse, and it keeps going. And you're thinking, is this song ever going to end? The funny thing about this song, when he says about the albatross, I don't know, for some reason I didn't know an albatross was a bird. Like I had, until Bruce Dickinson was talking about some birds crapping on your head and this and that. But I don't know. It's just always, when I thought of an albatross, I thought it was something you put around your neck. So I was always picturing like somebody had the albatross across their a thing across their neck, and then they were thrown out into sea, and then to sink to the bottom of the ocean. Okay, so I sucked in school, I guess you could say. No, I did okay in school, but an albatross, for some reason, I had no idea that was a bird. Whoa. Anyway, back to the show. We're gonna wrap it up, and then hopefully we don't run into this problem next week when I show Merciful Fates. We're gonna break down and dissect that record, Merciful Fates, Don't Break the Oath. It's gonna be the 40th anniversary, and I think I'll get away with that without having to do this stuff. Powerslave, fucking best Iron Maiden record ever. All right, back to the show.
It's so awesome, man.
I mean, his vocals, man, as powerful as they were back, and he still sings so fucking powerful. I would love to hear him do that song these days. I mean, it's been a while since they played that song live, but I would love to hear what they do with it now. I mean, they do Alexander the Great now, like in the new set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's a long ass song, so I don't see why they can't pull off Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. What do you think about the arrangement? I was noticing, like, because it's like you got all this massive stuff going on, and you got that middle breakdown. Then it comes back after everything with a whole nother verse, at the very end, and then I was thinking at first, is there even any guitar solos in this song? Like, I don't think there's even a guitar solo, but then I remember they came at almost towards the very end after the bass solo and everything, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I was surprised that he came back with the verse on that. Usually a long song like that, at the end they don't come back with the verse. I mean, even like Master of Puppets doesn't come back with the verse.
Yeah, I don't think it does. Yeah, it just kind of goes.
Does it come back? No,
I don't think it does.
I mean, Master of Puppets, the other epic song that I think is one of the best written songs, but along with Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Yeah,
both of them are well written, but this is an awesome song.
Yeah. Well, that's an album we got to dissect as Master of Puppets at some point. Yeah. This has been great. Yeah. We've been dissecting this whole album. So kids, get out there and get Powerslave, Iron Maiden. If you're in Guam and you're near the PX, you get your copy there. Or if you're in Merced and you go to Kmart, you can get your copy there. Or you can just go on Apple and iTunes and Spotify and stream it. But I always recommend get out there and buy the physical copy of the record. Get the vinyl, get the CD, get the cassette if you can, because there's nothing like holding it in your hands and listening to it, and you get the beautiful inside. You got lyrics in there to read while you're listening to the album. It's just, it takes you away from the craziness in this world. You could just sort of put on a record and lay on your bed or lay on your couch and just sort of lose yourself in the artwork and the music. And do you still do that these days, Paul? Like put on a record every now and then?
It's I love putting on an album and just following along with the lyrics.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a special feeling. That's the reason why I always loved about buying vinyl, because vinyl always had lyrics in it, and it's just putting it on and just hearing the vinyl play and just following along. It's a great feel. You kind of you become more involved with it. It's almost like you're watching the performance live when you're following the lyrics, you know.
Exactly, yeah. And these days, I mean, when you get vinyl, you get extra goodies. Sometimes you get a booklet with like the history of the record, or you get posters and things like that, you know, like different colored vinyls, you know, so especially a lot of these anniversary editions that are coming out. You know, it seems like every year there's a anniversary of something coming out, and they always throw in extra stuff, bonus tracks and things like that. And so it's an exciting time to buy physical music.
Live tracks with it or demo.
Yeah, it's definitely definitely a good time to buy physical music. I know people say, well, yeah, and I still trip out when people say that. When I say, yeah, I got this on record, and they're like, what? They still make records? They still make vinyl? It's like, dude, it's like, or CD still around?
In just about every format now.
Yeah, it's just like, and I think they're probably more on vinyl than they have been in ever, like even in the past. It's like,
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, bands, even though I stream my music, but I still buy physical copies. That's my way of supporting the musicians themselves. So I buy physical copies, especially if it's a smaller, more independent underground band. I definitely get copies of their the material from them, and that's my way of giving back, saying, you know, I support this band.
Yeah, that's the same here. Support local bands, independent bands that are signed, to smaller labels. Just go to their Bandcamp, you know, just check them out. You know, it's like that's the beauty of music now. It's so available, and you have the option to dig it or pass on it. You know, if you pass on it, you'll find something new. You know, and
you get to sample it all nowadays before you
sample it. Yeah.
Go to the record store and look for the coolest looking art cover, you know,
out cover, which I still do. Even on YouTube, it's like, oh, that looks interesting. Yeah. Or if the band's name sounds cool, like Squid Pisser, I was like, I had to listen to Squid Pisser. That name just stuck out to me, and I ended up liking them. Such a crazy band. And even Donald Trump thinks so. He's flipping us off. I'm gonna win in November. Fuck you.
No, I don't think he looks orange.
You don't think it looks orange? It looks orange here. Yeah, I guess how close he is. He's happy. Flipping the camera off. Fuck you. All right, guys. So this is Dissecting the Album. We dissected Powerslave. What are you going to give this album from 1 to 10? What would you give this album?
For me, for Iron Maiden, it's a 10. I love this album.
It's a 10 for me too.
My favorite album.
It's my favorite too. Like, you know, I always tie it between this and Seventh Son, you know, but this is definitely my favorite, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about you know, Somewhere in Time a little bit. You know, Somewhere in Time's got a few songs that's memorable, but this album it's solid.
Yeah,
this is a solid album.
Yeah, it's a solid record. And the next record we're going to dissect in about a week or so is going to be Merciful Fate's Don't Break the Oath. It's going to be coming up on its 40th anniversary next week. Actually, I think it was released in it's September 7th of 1984. 84.
That's the first Merciful Fate album I ever bought. And
me too.
First time I heard King Diamond.
Awesome. Yeah, first time I ever heard any music that sounded like that, and it scared the shit out of me for the first time. Like listening to my bedroom, like, holy shit! I was on house arrest and shit.
No, I don't think I was on that thing. Man, I was like, what the heck?
Yeah. I don't think I was on house arrest at that time, because that was before I got on house arrest. But I just remember playing it in the bedroom for the first time after I bought it, and just thinking it was fucking scary, sounding like the Come to the Sabbath, and trippy. But we'll get into all that next week.
I hope to get like a seance, like yeah,
right. But I loved it because it scared me. That's what I loved about it. All right, everybody, it's been real. Thank you for joining us on this site, Dissecting the Album. And again, if you're not good to yourself, you're no good to anyone else. So be kind to yourself and be kind to everybody. Be kind to all creatures on earth. That's how we do it around here. Horns up and peace out. Yeah.